Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. I am your host, and today got a very simple, beautiful story from one of our community members, subscribers. That's what I wanted to say, and it's a very simple experience of manifesting a specific person. And very often we have this question of, can I manifest a specific person back into my life? That's exactly what she did in the shortest time as well. That's also remarkably fun. And here's the thing, just a little bit of context here, right? This subscriber has shifted to this version of herself, this version of knowing, into I am reality, that I am awareness, that I am the center of my divine experience as the divine. That's exactly what you are, right? She shifted into that knowing. She shifted into knowing that no matter what she imagines herself to be, she is that right now. That experience is who she is right now, and she knows that as an experience, it unfolds backward and forward from where she is right this moment, right? She's just choosing who she is as awareness, and then that's about it, right? That's all. Sure, she imagines things, she likes to imagine things, but she also knows that she's awareness, and then no matter what she is imagining, that's the only thing that matters. The thoughts, the feelings, the fears, the doubts, they don't matter. And like I said in the previous video, the three-dimensional you who is doubting that the actual real you exists. And here's the thing, it is the real you that is choosing to believe in that 3D you. So it's always coming from you. The you that is believing something, that is the you. The you that is choosing not to believe something or believe something altogether, that's the real you. The one that is choosing what to do, the one that is choosing what to think, the one that is choosing what to say. And I don't just mean those random thoughts that pop up. You aren't choosing to think those things. You are choosing what you think about those things. That's you. Those are just transient, random thoughts that are popping in, that are spontaneously existing along or with you, within your own awareness. So, what did she do? Or what did she want? She knows herself as awareness, and she decided, I want to have a experience with an X. I want to manifest my specific person back, not for any long-term romantic reason either. It's just that internally she knows she's the center of the world, of her universe, and she wanted to experience something with her ex, right? They didn't have a particularly good experience the last time she saw him. They broke up in not a particularly nice way. It wasn't a overtly, explosive thing either, but it wasn't a preference of how they broke up, right? It would be more of her preference to have a pleasant experience with this person. That's what the desire was, manifest this person back, have a pleasant experience with them, and then that's what she was imagining, right? She set the intention. This is her steps, not necessarily outlined in steps, but she just said what she experienced, and that's what you experienced, right? She set the intention. I am imagining my ex, the person who is her ex, right? But she's not imagining them from this experience that, okay, I'm imagining them as my ex now. Not necessarily that, right? She's imagining, okay, this person that I'm referring to as my ex, I'm setting the intention to see them again, to have an experience with them again. What's that experience? Not necessarily romantic, but just have a pleasant experience with them. She imagined that, and then she didn't hold on to it. She dropped it, essentially, right? When you don't hold on to something, you are effectively dropping it back into your own reality, probability, quantum field that you are, right? You're just dropping it. You're not even holding on. You aren't even dropping it. You're just not holding on to the thing, because you don't need to hold on to it, right? I don't need to hold on to this pen to know that it's mine. I can just leave it on the table. It's still mine. It's still already there with me, but I don't need to grip it all the time to know that I have it, right? The same thing. You are reality. You don't need to grip onto reality to know that you have it all the time. So, what actually happened? She imagined it. She set the intention that this is who I am now. This is what I want to experience. This is what I want my physical experience to be. Imagined something or other, right? She dropped, and she didn't hold on to it. Like, even I say drop it, but it's not dropping it, it's just not holding on to it, right? She imagined it fully let herself feel it, and then without overthinking it, without bothering about how to do something or what she needs to do or where this person is. And when I say where this person is, understand, he does not live, I believe, in the same country as her. Which is even more amazing, right? He doesn't live in the same country. Oftentimes we say, can I manifest a specific person back? They don't even live in the same area, right? This guy doesn't live in the same country, evidently, right? So, what happened? Nothing. Days and weeks just unfolded. But it wasn't days and weeks of nothing moving. It was days and weeks of her experiencing herself as the center of her divine experience, as awareness. With it built into her experiencing that she set the intention that she's this version of herself who experiences something with that ex-boyfriend, right? She just set that intention. Weeks went by, days went by, however long went by, not in the assumption that nothing is happening, in the assumption that she's awareness, in the assumption that she has all of her intentional experiences set, imagined, done, unfolding perfectly. And she experienced days and weeks going by as awareness, not waiting for the thing to happen, in the assumption that whatever she set as the intentional experience of who she is, that's what's unfolding. So it doesn't matter if weeks and months go by. The only thing that matters is I know that as those weeks and months go by, I am the experiencing and the awareness of those weeks and months. I know I set my intention. I know I am who I choose to be. That's what must be unfolding. And after a few weeks, on a weekend, where normally she doesn't walk her dog, her daughter walks the dog, she decided to walk the dog. Not because of anything, not because she thinks she's going to bump into this person who doesn't live in the same country, but I guess I gave it away there, right? What happened? She's walking the dog. Perfect encounter. She bumps into this guy. Didn't even know that he was there. He was there to sign some paperwork or something or other, right? No desire to restart the relationship, but she had a desire to see him and have a nice experience with him. That's what the desire was, right? Perfect unfolding of reality, exactly how she wants it. Not necessarily her dream life of a relationship with this person, but part of her dream life is to see herself and experience herself as reality. So it is part of her dream life in the sense that she's seeing herself how she truly is, which is the person who is the dreamer. So it is part of your dream life to actually experience these things, right? Where I consciously call this, here we go, here it is, right? That's what she experienced. And here's the next thing. When they broke up in that previous iteration of reality, that previous arrangement of reality, she's no longer that person who experienced that. He can't be that person who experienced that either. Why? Because reality is only reflecting who you are now. So who are you now? She's the knowing that she's awareness. She's the knowing that she's the center of reality. That's who she is, right? He apologized for the last time that they saw each other because she's no longer that person. He's the person who treats her wonderfully and lovingly. She's the person who's wonderful and love. But he's also wonderful and love because reality is only reflecting who you are, not who you physically being. Reality is reflecting who you know yourself to be as awareness, as love, as the actual creator of your reality. And that's what's being reflected. As your physical self and his physical self, as reality itself, that's what's being reflected. So he apologized. He said something along the lines of, last time was whatever, but they had a pleasant, wonderful, loving experience in that moment, and that's what she wanted. And then I'm not entirely sure if they're keeping in touch or not. It doesn't really matter. That's her choice, right? From her point of view, from his point of view, that's his choice. But I'm not seeing his point of view. I am seeing my subscriber's point of view because that's my reality, right? And that's what perfectly happened. And here's the other thing. She also wondered about these other ideas about reality. Because sometimes you imagine something and it's blurry and you wonder, does that blurriness matter? No, because it was still blurry with this guy. And she said, okay, the blurriness doesn't matter. It's going to manifest anyway. It did, because it doesn't matter. So the manifestation is not about the identity or forcing the outcomes, right? It's not about the specific identity. It's about the identity of you as source. That as source, I'm calling forth this experience, right? Cool. I'm living as the version of me that called forth that experience, that I experienced it within. It must be my now experience without. William Blake, quoted by Neville Goddard. He really likes William Blake, and I really like him too. After reading some of his poetry, that's what it is, right? She became that version of herself. Not holding on to it is the most powerful thing you can do, because you are letting it to your higher self. You are allowing your higher self to unfold it. You are unfolding yourself in the assumption that I imagined it, I set the intention, it's done, and I'm walking in that knowing that I'm awareness and I know my intentional settings of reality. I'm walking in the assumption that my intentional settings of reality are the settings that are unfolding. Right? That's what's happening. When you set your oven, you don't stand there and make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing in every moment. You've set your intention. Then you're walking in the assumption that that's what's happening. And it was the most ordinary things that you can be doing. Walking the dog. And that's what happened. I had this fun thing, because it's a dog, and obviously dog, if you see the word dog reflected, it's God. So what's really happening? God took itself out for a walk for its own experiencing, because you are God taking your physical self out for a walk with the physical version of itself as a dog, meeting the physical version of itself as your specific person. In that sense, right? So it's God being that person, God being you, God being the dog, but you are God with the viewpoint of yourself. That's who you are. So those ordinary moments can be and are absolutely magical, right? That's exactly what it is. Your higher self is orchestrating that experience of reality because you asked for it, because you imagined it, because you set the intention that this is what I want to experience now. You are your higher self. It's not holding back. It's actually never going to hold something back from you. Like, why on earth would your higher self hold something back from you? I get it. I get that sometimes you wonder if you are doing something right or you are doing something wrong. I get that. But I also just understand that, hey, your 3D self is always going to go up and down, left and right. There is a story of reality where you are experiencing whatever it is you want to be experiencing. There's no reason for this story not to unfold. There's none. For the very simple reason, God wants to experience it. You are God here to experience it as God. God can't experience that reality without you experiencing it. God created that reality to be experienced by itself, because it is itself. What we get muddled up with is that you're thinking that whatever it is you are currently experiencing of reality is not experiencing that. So whatever you are experiencing now as reality is holding you back from experiencing that. It's not. It can't be. Because this is God too. This mundaneness, the walking the dogness. God wants to experience you walking itself as a dog. It might be boring and mundane to you, but God cannot experience even walking the dog without you. And you are here to believe yourself as a physical being, to be so small and limited, but no, you are not small and limited. So you are always going to be aiming or seeing yourself as greater and greater and greater and greater and greater and greater, because you physically presented as not that. So you are always going to look to that highest point of imaginal experiencing of from who you truly are, God, having the greatest love story experience that you can possibly imagine yourself to experience. because you are so down from who you truly are as a physical experience. You're always going to be. But for God, God's everything. And being that everything, it's actually quite, it's quite something to simply not experience being everything and simply walk a dog. I hope that's making sense. I'm trying to show you the 2 points of view that you are inhabiting. You are God experiencing infinity. You are that, right? But for the God to experience that infinity, to actually experience something very small, very something mundane to your physical self, is a very, it has to actually deny everything else just to experience being a dog. Being a dog and being walked by you. But that is what God is doing, right? As you walking the dog. And now for you, that physically focused version of you, walking the dog, you are simultaneously being God, accepting that you are infinity. While walking the dog, accepting that you are infinity, imagining yourself in some infinite way that you now desire to be, that reflects your infiniteness. I'm going to say this again because this idea just came to me like now while I was saying it. So I'm just going to express it again, right? God is everything. You are God. You are that everything. You are that reality. You are the reality of all reality superimposed onto itself, right? The creator of everything in one go. You are God. So for God to actually experience itself walking a dog in the simplest, most mundane of moments of reality, it has to simultaneously deny itself as everything just to simply experience this one simple thing. Because it cannot do that simple thing without denying the rest of itself. That is a incredible experience, to deny everything just to feel something very simple. For God, that is, for God to do that to itself is incredible for itself to experience that. You are God experiencing that part. Now, as you are God experiencing that simple idea of just walking a dog, as that physically focused you, what you are also doing is remembering simultaneously that you are that infiniteness and imagining yourself in an infinite, abundant experience that you would prefer experiencing as a physically focused self that also simply exists and you are experiencing as well simultaneously. And that's what your physical unfolding is, even from the viewpoint of walking the dog. So you are God being everything, denying it to be that small mundane moment. And as that small mundane moment, as your physical self, you are denying that the physically small focus moment is your only reality. You are infinity. You are infinity being a small thing, and as that small thing, denying that you are only that small thing being infinity. And imagining yourself in a version of reality that now reflects your knowing as infinity. You are doing those two things simultaneously as your small focus self and as God being everything focused on your small self. And you're doing that in every single moment, including the version of you who is experiencing what you now consider a reflection of your self-concept of being infinity. Because even from then, you can still imagine yourself as a higher form of experiencing as infinity. So even the version of reality that you are experiencing within as your desired life, the version of your identity that you choose now, is also imagining a higher form of infinity from that viewpoint, as well as imagining where it came from, rather, not where it came from, but a version of reality that is part of its own unfolding, which is you right now. So so the version of yourself that you are imagining in that dream life, with your dream specific person, with your dream apartment, with your dream house, with your dream job, whatever, is imagining you where you are right now, being imagined by God, which is being everything, which is denying everything to be you, while you are denying that to be God. I know it really is just looking and knowing that no matter where you are God looking at itself. So do that. You are God looking at itself as awareness. I know that was a bit of a, like, I was basically following what I was imagining myself to express it, which is like there and then here and then like there and then denying that there to be here and then denying this to be there. That's what I was doing, right? I hope you followed that. I will expand it again later. It was a very fun trifecta of things. I know this was a specific person manifestation video, and that's what I was talking about and how I got there. And why you can have everything from everywhere, and why it's important to know that every single moment is actually important to God, because you are doing all of that in every single moment. You are doing literally everything that I said in every moment from every point, because you are God doing all of it, being all of it. So just to cover that steps again, you are God, you are everything. Every arrangement of reality exists. A desire means you are experiencing that arrangement right now and you're becoming aware of it, and you can choose to experience it or not. That's what my subscriber follower did. She decided, I am choosing to experience right now, and then she didn't hold on to it, and it unfolded, because as part of her awareness of moving around in the assumption that she's moving in the assumption that what she set as an intention is what is unfolding as her life right now. But quite simple, actually. Quite a simple, succinct experience. And I loved it very much. Thank you for telling me that. Truly. I know I said thank you in the email as well, but I truly enjoyed it. And I got to make this. But this was already existing. This was already made. All of it just adds context to itself. So, thank you for the email. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the liking, the sharing, the subscribing, the joining of the community. Thank you for being in the community. Thank you for people who are new as well. Thank you for the TikTok following. Thank you for the Facebook joining. And thank you for being here. Infinite light, infinite love, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.